Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a 22-year-old competitive boulderer from Canada, currently living near Toronto. Welcome back to the COMPCLIMB training series, where I record most of my training, provide in-depth analysis of every session, and just chat about climbing with an emphasis on competition. So, I said I was going to be getting back to the Kilter board ever since we had our first COMPCLIMB Kilter board session, probably like a couple months ago at this point, back when we were climbing a studio block. And it's taken me just a while to get to it. I couldn't find a good time to schedule into the program. So now it's finally happening. I feel like we'll probably be alternating like Kilter board and moonboard for a couple weeks, like for the next few weeks during this training cycle, because I like to climb with Ben on the moonboard and he's really psyched about the moonboard. But personally, I'd say I like the Kilter board better. So it'll be like half solo Zach Kilter board sessions and then half moonboard sessions with Ben. So today we have our solo Kilter board session with just myself. And so this is probably like, I think it is like my fourth session actually ever on the Kilter board. It's really starting to grow on me. The first time I climbed on it was actually in Germany earlier this year, just with like a local climber at Studio Block. We decided to mess around on the Kilter board for a bit. I think we had a session on it at 50 degrees, which is what this angle is, by the way. We're training on this Kilter board at 50 degrees today. So yeah, we did. I don't really remember many of the boulders that we tried. He was just kind of taking me through some climbs. And then I had like another super short session with Ben earlier in the year when I was just visiting Canada, climbing up for like 20 minutes. I think we did like an Alex Megos boulder. I don't remember what it was though. And then so the session that I featured like a couple months ago when we were climbing in Germany was like the first proper like focus, like, okay, I'm going to go and try and like just try as hard as I can on the Kilter board session. And then this is sort of like the second time where I'm going myself to just tackle a bunch of boulders of my choosing and really like give it my full focus and full dedication. So basically the point is I'm still like kind of a noob at the Kilter board. And a good example of my Kilter board noobness is this boulder here that we're trying. So I remember after my first Kilter board session, like a while ago, I kind of was like, I got psyched on the Kilter board. So I went and like was looking at videos and stuff because it was a lot of fun. And then I stumbled across a video of Anthony Goldstein, I think that's how you say his name, doing this boulder like on Instagram. And it looks super sick. Like it's got this super epic backwards spin around move here that I'm about to try. And I was like, okay, I have to try this boulder. Whenever the next time I'm getting on the Kilter board, I have to get on this boulder. Like this looks epic. And this is kind of what I like more about the Kilter board than the moonboard is these crazy moves I find are sort of unique to the Kilter board. I find that the moonboard is more finger based and finger power based, and then the Kilter board is more movement based. That's like the difference that I'm noticing at least. But anyway, my gumbiness of this boulder, what I was talking about earlier, is that I forgot, I was not checking like what the setter angles were. I didn't know that this was a thing. I thought like if you program, like I programmed the app to 50 degrees, I thought it would just show me all of the boulders and all the grades of what they are at 50 degrees. Basically, I was a bit confused. I guess this boulder is like V12 at 60 degrees, and I'm trying it at 50 here. It felt pretty hard still, but I guess, yeah, I was definitely like, okay, this doesn't seem like V12 the way I'm trying it right now, but maybe it's like V10 or something. It's still pretty hard at this angle. So I posted a video on Instagram of this boulder as well, and then I was informed by someone that has also tried this boulder, and I actually, now that they said it, it actually makes a lot of sense, and I was kind of like thinking this myself when I was realizing that I should have been trying this boulder at 60 degrees, is that this move here, this campus up, is actually harder at 50 degrees. At least that's what this person was saying. And that's what my intuition would tell me as well. Like I haven't tried the 60 degree version because obviously the wall is less inclined. So you have to campus more upwards. And so this move is actually bigger. But at 60 degrees, the beginning is harder because the holds are just obviously worse at a steeper incline. So yeah, the idea is that the campus 360 move is easier at a steeper incline, but then the beginning is harder, which is really fascinating, isn't it? It's like a move on a boulder is getting easier with a steeper incline. That's not something that you see very often. But anyway, I was a Gumby, and I guess I should have been trying that boulder at 60 degrees because I don't know what grade it is at 50. It was still pretty cool. So maybe on our next Kilter board session, I'll try to do that boulder again at 60 degrees. But yeah, that was obviously really cool. And I was feeling pretty decent during the session. Definitely better than I have been. Like obviously we're in a high volume training phase, and probably 60% of my sessions I'm feeling like absolutely gassed and just like I can't try very hard. Today was a very neutral feeling session. And a neutral feeling session in high volume training phase basically means it's a good session. Like it doesn't go better than neutral when we're in a high volume, right? It's either crap or neutral. So the neutral session was good. And so I was psyched. That meant that I could try a bunch of boulders. And so basically, like I said, I'm still kind of a noob on the Kilter board, so I don't know what the cool boulders are. I don't know what the popular boulders are. So I kind of just like put my filter to V11 to 12 and just started like flipping through them. So we're trying this boulder here that I just like scrolled upon. And actually this is a good time to say we're definitely going to be getting on a Kilter board session soon again. So any recommendations for some like classics, for some like 5-star boulders on the Kilter board, drop in the comments and I'll get to them. Because I don't know what's good. I take a little bit of time to go do some looking around on social media to find good boulders, but I can definitely use some help and just give me some boulders to try. And then that being said, of course, the one thing I do know about the Kilter board is that Jimmy Webb makes a lot of boulders. And so halfway like through scrolling around on these boulders, I said, you know what? I should just try a bunch of Jimmy Webb boulders. I'm sure his boulders are probably going to be quite accurate to the grade, and I'm sure they're just going to be pretty epic. And so this boulder here was super sick. This was like the first, I clicked on I put Jimmy Webb as my filter, scrolled through a couple boulders, and I looked at this, and immediately I saw like what at least looked like the intended sequence with this cool hand swap move. And I was like, okay, I got to get on this. This looks super cool. And yeah, this is like my first attempt. I like to do this a lot with boulders during any of my sessions, like regular boulder sessions, Kilter board sessions, barrel sessions. I give like mock flash goes. I like to sort of just give a flash go, and then if I fall, hop right back on, test the next move. If I fall again, hop right back on, and sort of just fall my way up a boulder. I find that helps with the learning process, and it helps me put a boulder down really fast. And so it actually really helped for this boulder. Like here I am like able to do it on, not really my second go because I got on the boulder like a couple more times, but my second go from the ground at least. And I looked pretty all right throughout my ascent of this boulder here, but this was like a really hard fight. Like this move at the end here, I decided to go with my right hand up and then do a crossover. I bet, I'm sure some people that have sent this boulder maybe went up there with their left hand, but the left of these two holds was a bit better, so I decided to do the cross method, and it made for like a really hard last finish move. And so like I was saying, I sort of think that the Kilter board is sort of more movement based, and the moon board is a bit more finger based. So I was finding that I was having a much better time training on this board than I was on the moon board with Ben a bit earlier. And even like just from my past moon board sessions, I feel like this board suits me way better just because I can use my movement power and I don't have to just grab little crimps all the time that I'm not so good at. So I felt like a lot of these boulders like were really my style, and it's a lot of fun to just climb on boulders that I excel at. And so, yeah, we're continuing with the Jimmy Webb boulders now. I figured like, okay, I'll just sort of finish my session with just trying a bunch of Jimmy Webb boulders. And actually this boulder here, check this move out that I'm about to try. So I'm kind of like, okay, how am I going to go up for this next hold? And I was going to try a back flag. And then you can see that I popped the front flag, the inside front flag, and that's going to be today's tip of the day. So this is actually something in the last year that I've really been I've kind of heard, a lot of us have heard about the front flag for a while, and it's like, okay, it seems kind of gimmicky, like the inside flag. It's like, that just seems like it's for route climbers just to be a little bit fancy. But in the past year, I've really been adapting the inside front flag for like not just fancy like style points, but there are a lot of situations actually in bouldering, in competitive comp style bouldering as well, where the front flag can actually be like super helpful and a really big game changer. So this boulder and that boulder in particular, it kind of just helped a bit with the ending sequence. I find that the difference is with the back flag is because your leg is going down and underneath, it won't allow you to get as much height. Whereas with the inside flag, you can place it in front of you and then you can actually reach a bit further up than you would with the back flag. So just on that last end of that last Jimmy boulder, the next hold was a bit too far to reach with the back flag, but putting the flag inside meant that I could reach a little bit higher, but still getting the same effect, like not making me barn door for that move. And it definitely probably enhanced my, attempt by like 10% or something. And so it was definitely really helpful. And I sort of did that by instinct as well. And basically I've been really drilling in the front flags and really been thinking about them for the past year and really experimenting with them and learning about them. And so now I have some pretty good instincts for actually when to apply the inside front flag and when it can actually be better than any other like foot position, and it can actually just be the most optimal. I'll quickly pause before I carry on with this idea. I'll pause and say this is the last boulder of the session. I was like, obviously we've been sending all the boulders that we've tried so far, and I wanted to sort of try like a project, like, okay, let me pick like a really hard boulder that I just like give a few tries to, and then we'll revisit for the last Kilter board session. So I looked at this boulder here and I said, okay, this looks really hard to the Jimmy V12. I probably won't be able to do this. And so I tried for a few times. I sort of like ruled out the shoulder move. Initially, like this move here, I started to do as an undercling move because I thought the shoulder would be too intense. But later on, I actually realized that I just needed to commit a bit more, and the shoulder move ends up working for me. And I actually ended up sending this boulder to my surprise. I had to like summon up all my energy for my last go of the day, and it was like a last minute send, which was pretty cool. But yeah, so with the inside flag, and for anybody who's seen the crimp video that we did, Maddie and I did, the new gym in Heidelberg, we did the video for the gym opening just to kind of feature what it's all about. It's called Crimp. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it in the description. But there's a boulder in that video that features Maddie and I's special move. Maddie sort of like, the only climber I've ever seen ever do this, honestly, is actually Maddie. And so I started copying her, and it can be game-changing sometimes on slab. Go check out the crimp video. It's like the first boulder, I think, in the video after like the little intro, where we do a dynamic inside flag. And it is like the best way to do this move because you can't do a foot swap. And if you don't do an inside flag, you're going to barn door off. And this, like, I can't wait till we find a boulder like in our training sessions where I can feature the dynamic inside front flag. But it is so good. And like, basically, I've been really learning how powerful the inside front flag is. And even on like overhanging boulders like this, it can help a lot. And you know, a good way that I actually was practicing the inside flag and really learning about it is while you're warming up. It's a very easy thing to play around with. Just like on moderate boulders where you would normally do like a back flag or match your feet, just start implementing inside front flags on purpose. Even if it's like you don't have to do it, just do it to sort of drill the muscle memory into your mind and like get the neurological pathways like nice and practiced. And then you'll start to develop an intuition for when you can apply it to harder boulders, and it can be really helpful sometimes. Tip of the day, inside front flag can be really good. So now here we are, last attempt of the day. I knew that I was either going to send this boulder on this attempt or I was going to call it, because with the high volume training phases, you can't go overtime because all the training is just too tiring. So I was able to summon. I used my breathing tip of the day from my last couple of videos. I got really psyched, really fired up, and I maximized my power, and I was able to get a send of another Jimmy boulder. So here we are for session 2. And now that was a pretty epic Kilter board session we had in the morning. I was really psyched. We got a bunch of good sends in of some hard boulders, especially that last boulder. I had to really fight to get a send of that. And so basically my grip strength was destroyed, obviously, from that session. Like these like board sessions, like I was saying with the moon board and the Kilter board too, a little bit less so with the Kilter board just because you got some pinches or you got like some more edgy edges rather than just the crimps all the time with the moon. But like just the board climbing, like these finger strength boulders over and over again, like nonstop for an hour, it just kills me. Like I'm not one of the climbers that can do that for hours and hours, and just even doing an hour-long session on a board will just zap me. And so I was really struggling with this campus session. It was interesting. My fingers were really tired, but what I found was I had a lot of energy for this session, actually. I just had like my normal double espresso before the session, but for some reason it just hit me extra hard, and I was able to get super fired up for all my attempts, which was pretty necessary, actually, and came in clutch so that I was able to maximize whatever power I had left. And, you know, I've like talked about this in the last few videos as well while we've been in a high volume training phase, and I was really emphasizing my breathing as well during the session, just getting like, you know, doing my super powerful breathing right before every attempt, getting super fired up for every single attempt. Like I was trying to make every attempt count, and I have to like spend 30 seconds before every attempt to get super fired up to make it count. Because obviously this campus session, like we're on a 45-degree wall, there's no escaping the grip strength power on these boulders as well. That being said, though, I tried to stick to holds with like some slopers as well. Like, yeah, we got a couple crimps on this boulder that we're trying here, but we have some slopers too, so it's not just all crimp. That's how Ben likes to do his campus sessions, but I don't. So we're doing this boulder here, which we tried in our first campus session, and I was able to sort of figure out all the moves just about, but I hadn't stuck this move here yet. So this like 1-2 move in the middle, I finally stuck for the first time today, and then I just got a surge of adrenaline, and I was able, like, obviously I haven't stuck this next move to the crimp Gaston here, but I'm like, I have to send this boulder now, and I'm fighting really hard here. Probably crimped a little bit too hard with my right hand on this move, but I was like so psyched to put this one down. That was an epic campus boulder. Like we had some pretty cool moves on that. I was pretty proud of that. I don't actually think that there's a better way to do that middle move other than the sort of, left hand up, right hand down. I think that was actually the best way to do that sequence. So that was pretty cool. So basically, when you have one of those attempts on a session like this, where you're already gassed and you just have one of those, okay, I'm about to send this boulder, and then you get a kick of adrenaline, basically, that just empties the tank. Like, I had nothing left after that attempt. After that boulder, for the rest of this session, is probably the most tired I've been all year. I don't remember the last time I was this tired. Just like hands like not able to squeeze, like outside of, route climbing and being super pumped from just pure fatigue, just not being able to squeeze your hands together. I haven't felt that in a long time. And it was kind of a cool feeling. It was rewarding in a sense. It made me feel like I was working hard, so that was cool. But what was not cool was that we had about 20 minutes left of a campus session, and I had to just push through it because something that I've been actually pretty proud of and happy of is that we've been nailing all of our training sessions recently. If you remember, I mentioned this at the beginning of this training month. I said that I wanted to execute this next month of training perfectly. I wanted to do all my sessions, not switch anything around, not cut anything short, not have to add a rest day because I'm a baby or, change anything around. I want to just execute the program. And it's been a while since we've done that. You'll notice from in the past, I like to change my program a lot as we go on, just because, we're only human and we have to make adjustments based on our schedules, based on how we're feeling, whatever. But in an ideal world, we can just execute a program the way we write it out initially. And so that was sort of my little mini goal for this training month. And so far, we're just about to be halfway done this training month, and I haven't gone overtime once. I haven't cut a session short. I haven't done anything. I've just done exactly what's been written on the program. So it's been pretty nice. And so basically, that was what motivated me during this campus session, was that if I cut the session short, my perfect record is now concluded. So I had to just grind it out. I felt like I was performing at 60% of my ability on this boulder, but I was basically, the idea was to just give every attempt my maximum effort and just try and stay on the wall for as long as I can. Here's a good example of that. I'm just fighting, trying to stay on these 2 pinches. I know that I'm not about to send this boulder, but I'm gonna inch my way up it and add every single little percentage that I can into getting closer to the end of this boulder. But yeah, that's kind of how I will treat a session when we reach the point of okay, we're not sending boulders anymore. It's just let's close the gap between all these moves. Let's test out the moves, close the gap, just get those little micro percentages of progress on all these moves. And then that way, actually this will help you come back stronger for the next session and get a sense of a project. So yeah, this campus boulder is pretty epic. This move here at the beginning, I just decided to give one more try to see if it was possible. I think it's possible, but I was definitely too tired to be able to do this move today. So that's the only move left to go on this boulder here, which is a pretty epic campus boulder. This one's really my style with some pinches. And yeah, we'll revisit this one next session. And maybe I'll start with it too, so I can try it when I'm a bit fresher, and then maybe we can even get a sense of it. But yeah, training day is done. Holy cow. I could have finished the training day after the Kilter board session and been exhausted, and the next day of training would have been hard. And then I added an hour of campusing on top of that. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I'm gonna wake up and my hands are probably gonna be so dead. Tomorrow we're gonna start with a boulder session. I will just have to pick a gym with a lot of slab. Maybe I'll go to Up the Block and just only climb slab and just make up boulders on the slab and try to use my hands as little as possible because they are so tired. And if I want any energy at all for my crimp hangs and my pinch block later in the day, I need to preserve my grip strength. So we're going to see how tomorrow goes. But yeah, you can tune in for probably an Up the Block session tomorrow. Insert Kazi video outro here.